Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee and this is Get Lit with Kaylee.
It's lit!
Get it? Okay, I'm done. Thank you so much for being here, and if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and at the end of the video or throughout, if you like the content or maybe if you just like me, I don't know, please hit that like button to help us out. The video, if you didn't see from the thumbnail, is going to be about my September reading wrap up. I had a really good month of reading in September. Read 14 books in the month of September. It would have actually been 16 because today is October 2nd when I'm filming this, and I just finished 2 books yesterday that had taken me a couple days to get through. But whatever, we're gonna save those for October because I think we can talk about, or we've talked about enough for today. But anyway, the average time for me to finish a book was 3 days. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And I'm getting my data from Storygraph. If you don't have Storygraph, I would highly recommend it. I like it if you like to look at your stats and things like that. Also, their user interface is so much better. As far as I read all fiction this month. Most of the genres that I read this month are going to be romance and fantasy, which that is not surprising to anybody. And then I read 6 romance, 6 fantasy books, or romance, fantasy, whatever. And then, let's see here, only 2 horror books. That seems a little off, but whatevs. And then my average rating was a 3.7, which is, I think, is still a pretty good rating. It's really close to a 4. I had 1 5-star, I had 3 4-stars, and then I had some other ones sprinkled in between. So let's go ahead and get to the books that I read this month. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the books that I DNF'd first, which I don't count my DNFs, do not finish. I did not count my did not finish books towards my total that I read for the month, by the way. So all in all, we're going to talk about a total of 16 books, but I only read 14 to completion, okay? But I am going to talk about my 2 DNFs first. And they're both so disappointing, by the way. The first DNF that I had was My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington. I wanted to love this book so much. May or may not have been for the cover, okay? The cover is amazing. It's beautiful. The next one is coming out, or maybe it's already come out, but I love the cherub, I don't know. It looks really, really awesome. But as I was reading it, I already know about myself, bully romance is not for me. I don't love it. But I could not stand the main character. I just thought the whole thing was dumb, and I know it's not supposed to be realistic, so that's not why I disliked it. I just really did not like it. It just was not for me. We were not vibing. It just wasn't happening. So anyway, DNF. The next book that I DNF'd, again, because I love an unhinged woman story, but I read Ripe by Sarah Rose Etter, and I wanted to love it so much. She is talking about this black hole that's following her, and it's talks about corporate greed and all these other things. And so it was a recipe that I should have loved. I should have loved it, and I didn't. I got halfway, I think, and I just was I don't like this. It's not even a long book. I could have powered through, but I was I physically cannot do this. I don't like it. I'm not having a fun time, and reading is supposed to be fun. This is not a job. If it turns into a job because I'm making money, that's great. But at the same time, I think even then, I would still want to read things that bring me joy, and that did not bring me joy. So anyways, okay, for the books that I read, we're going to start out with the least liked to the most liked. And this month was really weird for me because a lot of the things I thought I was going to love, I didn't. And then I found some really surprising, a really surprising 5-star. So if you didn't see my reading vlog from, I believe I posted it pretty recently, or my most recent post, I did a taste test video where I read Alexis Henderson books. and it was like a taste test where I've never read anything from her, so I wanted to read both of her books and see if I like her as an author. It was fine. I don't think it was super successful because I didn't like love any of the books. I really liked one, didn't really like the other, and then I was wanting to go to Barnes or go to a bookstore like immediately after and like pick up her new book, Academy for Liars, but I just didn't have the willpower to do it. And if I don't have the willpower to go buy a book, then I know, like, we weren't vibing. So anyway, they're still good stories. But the first book that we're gonna talk about today is unfortunately House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. I rated this 2.75 stars. So for me and my ratings, if I rate something 3 stars, it's not a bad rating for me. It's more like I had an okay time. I read it, like, you know, passed the time. It was okay. Did I get anything out of it? No. Did it make me feel some type of way? No, it didn't. It just was kind of there. So the fact that I rated this 2.75, I still wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Like if someone like says, oh, I really like vampire books or Carmela retellings, because that's kind of what this was, then I would say, you know what, there's a few other books I would recommend before I recommended this one. If you just want to read a vampire book then go ahead. If you want to hear more about my thoughts of those books, check out that video because I will go more into depth. I just don't want to waste a lot of time talking about it when I already have. So that was that one. And E. So the first one I read was Pen Pal, and that one is by J.T. Gessinger? Anyways, hopefully I'm saying that right. But this one is kind of like a stalker romance. It's definitely a dark romance. It's about a woman who, her husband dies, and then she needs some stuff done, around the house. So she calls somebody, and there's a handyman kind of person that there's a thing that happens. And then there is, she keeps getting these like letters from an inmate saying that they've been watching her. And so she's like, what the heck is going on? And then it goes from there. So it was spooky at some points, and it was really interesting, especially in the beginning. I was like, where the heck is this gonna go? Like, I literally was intrigued, and that's the only reason why I really finished it, because I want to know what happens. But I rated it so low because although I had a good time most of the time, which I could have actually just bumped it up to 3 stars, but whatever, I hated the ending. I thought it was so dumb. And so that, I think it made me so mad that I rated it 2.75. But honestly, if you're a dark romance girly, if you liked Haunting Adeline, I don't know, because there is like a paranormal aspect to it too. So like, I think you might actually like it. So maybe I'll change my rating now that I talk about it. But anyways, at the time it pissed me off. So I rated it 2.75 again at the time. And the other book that I had physically, but I and hold it, and that was Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. This was the third Olivia Blake book that I've attempted to read, and we just don't vibe. Like, Leigh Bardugo and Olivia Blake, I don't know what the deal is, but I don't vibe with them. Like, I try to love their books so hard, and I just don't, and I wish I did, because I feel stupid not being able to read and enjoy those books, but I don't know. I tried, and so Masters of Death, I actually read the whole thing, and I thought out of all of the books that she's written, I would like that one the most. And I just finished it and being like, okay, now what? Like, I wanted to keep the book because like I love the sprayed edges on it, and it was like this really pretty seafoam green color, and I liked that it was like about a realtor who was like a vampire, and there was all these different creatures in it, and I just thought it was really cool. But then, like, I wanted more, and then the stuff that I got, I was like, this is dumb, and I just didn't like it. So, anyways, that's that one. That one kind of warrants the rating. But anyway, and then for our 3 stars. Now, I don't have any 3 stars, but I do have a 3.5 star. So, An Education in Malice is my first 3.75 stars. That's still really good. That does not mean that I disliked the book. I really did like this book. I love S.T. Gibson, like from whenever I read Dowry of Blood, so I was like, oh my god, amazing. That's still my favorite Carmela retelling. This one was good. I wanted more, but it was still really good. I just kind of came out of it being like, I want more out of these people, I wanted more out of the characters, and I think that's the reason why I rated it lower than I kind of anticipated. Also, because I read like so many vampire books so close together, I think I was just kind of like comparing. So, but I still really enjoyed my time. And it's definitely, I think it's definitely a good, it's set in a New England, not Boston, has really great vibes and everything, but there's like an inappropriate student-teacher relationship going on. It's vampy, it's really good. And then we also have Writers and Lovers by Lily King. This was one of those books where I was like, I just want to read this in public. Like, does this mean I'm better than everyone? It was so dumb, but anyways, it was one of those books that made me feel like I was reading literature or something. I don't know why. This is not a classic by any means. It just gave me that vibe. It's so dumb, but I did enjoy my time again. It was about a girl who moves to Boston. She's just kind of, so she's in this, I believe it's like an MFA program. I don't really know what she wants to do in life. Do I want to be a writer? At the same time, she's really not doing well with relationships. You know, it's kind of like following this character in this period of her life. And another book that I read on my Kindle and I rated 3.5 was Hate Hex by Gina Lamanna. I got this as an ARC from NetGalley, and I did like it a lot. We're following a vampire and a witch. They're in this like other reality in New York, like magical beings can go into, and she's another 30-something that's just kind of like, what the heck am I doing? I'm just here. And then she has this like rent-controlled apartment, and she's a taxi driver, which I thought was really funny. And she is basically being forced out of her apartment by this billionaire vampire. And, you know, obviously there's a love story there. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really fun. And I love the little side character, and so I really think that she's gonna probably get a book of her own, hopefully in this world. I'll definitely pick it up. But yeah, I had a good time with it. I actually read it on the beach, and I thought it was just like a really fun time. If you're looking for like a rom-com, something spooky, then I would definitely pick it up. I really liked it. It kind of reminded me a lot of Bride by Ali Hazelwood, if you like that vibe. Okay, and now we're gonna get to my 3.75s. And so the first one we have is City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab. This is the same author who wrote The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I really liked. This one is more middle grade. And I usually don't read a lot of YA or middle grade, but this one looked really cute, and I was like, you know what, I want to read it. It's a series. This one takes place in Edinburgh, and it's about a girl who can see ghosts, and her family, they have like a reality show where they're kind of like ghost hunters, but she can actually see ghosts, but they're like, okay, yeah, ghosts aren't really real, you know, and it's kind of funny because she can't actually do that. She's like the only one that's actually qualified for their job. But anyways, it's kind of, I thought that was funny. But I like this. It had a lot of Harry Potter references, so I was in there. I was really feeling it. But I had a good time with it. I think for what it meant to do, it was great. It was a little spooky too. And it's basically about a girl who, that's her life, but then she has an invisible friend, and she's seeing other people now at this haunted hotel, like B&B, and she ends up getting into trouble because she crosses over in this, I forgot what they call it, like the veil or something. And anyway, so then she has to find, there's another girl in the town that has the same gift as her that kind of teaches her the way. And so they're going to a lot of different cities, and her parents are going to all these different cities all over the world to film this show. So the next one's gonna be in Paris. and I'm pretty sure she goes to the catacombs. So that was the whole reason why I wanted to start this series. So I want to find the second book that's in the same edition. But yeah, I thought it was really cute and I want to continue on with it. And actually I want to read more V.E. Schwab too. So I haven't gotten into the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy yet, but that is something that I have my eye on, so we'll see. And then the next book that I have that's a 3.75 is Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. Again, if you want more of my thoughts on this book, go check out that reading vlog. I like the main character, it's more of like folk horror. And but yeah, I thought it was a really good time. I did like it, but again, if you want more of my spoilers, go over there. Okay, now we're gonna get to my 4-star books. So yeah, back to Catalina. So this is a great story. I got this from Aardvark. It's a story about a girl who is an undocumented immigrant in America. She's given like student status because she's going to Harvard. She's obviously very intelligent, and her grandparents who raised her in the US are undocumented. So it's from her own lens, and I believe the author was undocumented too. And so it's such a impactful story because you're learning about her experience, you know, having this privilege of going to Harvard, this coveted Ivy League university, and kind of how people treat her. And she talks about how her grandparents, how they'll wear like Harvard grandparent shirts and stuff, and whenever they have that on, people treat them differently, and then they feel a little bit more empowered. And so it's a story about kind of coming from, I guess, her background and her experiences, but then also like the struggles and the anxiety that people in this country have that are undocumented. They can't get jobs, they don't have a social security number, and it was a very interesting point of view, and I'm really excited to see what else she does. But this cover is stunning. Passengers by John Mars. This is another 4-star. Love John Mars. The One is my favorite book by him. But this one is like a Black Mirror episode, okay? It's actually pretty freaking wild. Like, what the heck? So essentially, we're following, I believe, 6 different point of views, or maybe 7. And they really don't get, at first you're like, oh my God, I have to follow seven people, but he writes them in a way that you really do get to know them and their characters, and they're like I think they're very 3-dimensional. It is mandatory to have a self-driving car. They have prevented accidents, things like that. There's also nobody doing like high-speed chases because they can't. So anyway, it's like impossible to hack. Well, somebody hacks them and locks these random people, well, not, some of them aren't so random, in the cars. And then there's a camera it's embedded, and then all of a sudden on everyone's phone, everyone's TV, computer, it's broadcasted on like basically Facebook on these people, and they're trapped in their cars, the windows are tinted, and they're just going around the city. And this hacker is like, okay, there's a random jury that's trying to decide this political thing that you'll read about in the book. I don't want to spoil it, but they're like, okay, if all of y'all in this room, and this is broadcasted also, have to decide which one of these people is going to live, and all the other ones, we're gonna make all their cards collide, and they're all gonna die. So it talks about like really bad secrets all these people have, and it goes from there. But if you haven't read The One, I would say to read that one first. You don't have to, but they do actually talk about, it's in the same universe. Like, this is a kind of scary universe, but they talk about something that happens in The One. So I would say to pick this one up second. It was really good. It was nonstop. It's definitely a thriller. My Apple Watch thought I was exercising at one point. I'm not even kidding. So like, read it, okay? Read it. It's so good. And the next one in this little series is The Marriage Pact. And I cannot wait for that one. I think I'm gonna wait to buy it until next year, because there's so many things I wanna read like over the next couple of months, but still, it's, wow. I wanna see what else John Mars does. and his sick brain of his. Okay, the next book that I have is The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hildebrand, and yes, this one is an autographed copy. I bought this in Nantucket. I know, so cool. And subtle brag there, but whenever I went to Nantucket, I had to go to Mitchell's because in her other books, she talks about this bookstore. And I was like, all right, I gotta go there. I gotta buy these books. But usually I don't like the movie tie-in covers, but I really like this one. And this one is so good. So this is technically the third in a series. So I could tell, especially in the first couple of chapters, like, okay, they're talking about people that are probably in the other books, but I don't think it made anything, I don't really think it made that big of a difference. So you can definitely read this, I think, without reading the other two. I rated it a 4, only because I kind of felt like the ending was like, really? It was underwhelming. The show was really good. The cast, for the friend, I forgot what his name is now, Shooter, he was nothing like I pictured or was described in the book. So I was like, didn't like that, but fine. There's a lot of differences though from the book and the movie, but it was still, both of these are still really, really good. I could not put this down. I had to know what was going on. It was messy. It was there was vibes, like it was so good. I definitely recommend this one. Again, I don't think you really need to read the other two before picking this one up, but it is the third in a series, so I just want to throw that out there. So yeah, that one is, oh wait, actually I'll say that in a second. The next book that I read is so nitpicky. These are just basically 5 stars, okay? Let's just call it what it is. They're probably like 4.5, 4.75, who cares? These are all 5 stars for me. Ghosts of Harvard by Francisca Saratella. Look here. This book is so good. I wanted to make a reading vlog where I read books set at Harvard because now I'm a Boston girly, but I didn't film it. But let me tell you what, this book is amazing. It's very genre bending because you've got a love story, you've got a thriller, you've got a paranormal aspect, you've got historical fiction, okay? You have all kinds of stuff going on. It's so good. It kept me hooked to the very last page. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. This was another one that at the end of it, I was like, what was that? But I had such a fun, great time throughout. I didn't really care. And honestly, the way everything did tie up, I was like, wait, huh? With certain aspects. But the very end, I was just kind of like, but yeah, it's also a psychological thriller. It just, it's so good. So we're following this girl and her brother went to Harvard before her. So he would have been like a junior and she's coming in as a freshman anyways, but he unalived himself. We are following her as she's going to Harvard, and her parents or her mom especially is like, why would you want to go to this school? Like, your brother, like, that is so painful for like me, for you to go there. And then all, like, she was under the impression that like she shouldn't go because it has like a bad stigma, and she was like, no, I need to go because for closure, like, I need to find out what happened and like what, they were very close. And her brother has schizophrenia. So I am not a psychologist. Those of you out there that have a background with like a mental health background, I don't know if the representation around schizophrenia was good in this book or not. I don't know. It was spooky, it was atmospheric, it talks so much about Harvard's history. I can't recommend this book enough. Okay, so the last 2 books that I have are basically 5 stars, okay? So we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I love this. When I heard that Elsie Silver was doing like an entire series of single dad trope, I was kind of like thinking, really? Am I gonna like that? Elsie, I love you, but are you okay? But I promise you, I'm here for it. This was so good. It's about Ford Grant. He is a billionaire. He is building a recording studio, kind of like a little oasis for artists and different people to come out there. Anywho, he hires someone to help him, I think, do the design work, if that's what it was. Anyways, but he hires somebody, and you know, it's a romance book. Come on. But there is all of a sudden, it says in the back of the book, this is no spoiler, a girl shows up and she's like, hey, you're my biological dad. So yeah, but all the dads are in this like little bowling group. So cute, so wholesome. I loved it. I already have wild eyes, so yeah, we'll be getting to that this year. But this was so awesome, and I cannot wait to see what else she does with the series. But the characters, oh, I fell in love with them. I just did. But she, and there's also some overlap between Chestnut Springs too. So love that. And like my favorite character shows up from Chestnut Springs, so I did not expect it. Anyways, it was so great. And they are tied. Like there's a sister who's tied to Ford, and I don't know if it's a spoiler a lot or not. I was pleasantly surprised by it, so I will let you guys read it on your own. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Okay, the last book that I have was a 5-star that I did not expect, okay? I did not expect for this one to be a 5-star because all the other Ellen Hildebrand books that I've read have been just kind of like, yeah, I had a okay time, you know, except Perfect Couple. I liked that one a lot. But this one was a love story. It's not really a romance, it's a love story. I know a lot of people don't like the cheating trope. It says it on the back. I'm not spoiling that for anyone. But I don't know, it was really messy. And would I do it? No. But I just, reading about it and their story, do I think they're in game? No. But it doesn't matter. It was fun to read about, okay? But we have these two people who make a pact that every summer for a week, like Labor Day, they're gonna go to Nantucket and spend it with each other, and they like recreate all the same crap they did. And so you're following them over their lives basically of 28 years, and it's really crazy. Like it made me laugh at some points. It made me like tear up. It was really good. I especially wanted to read it because I bought this is when I went on that Nantucket trip. So I bought this over Labor Day weekend in Nantucket, and it takes place on Labor Day weekend. So I think this was one of the first books that I read in the month of September because I like was immediately like, oh my God, vibes, I have to read it. But yeah, I really, really like that one. I would say that if you are gonna start with Ellen Hildebrand, to read the Nantucket Hotel or the 5-Star Weekend. And if you like those books, to read this one, because this one, she talks a lot about things from those books. And so I feel like stepping into this one, I had a little bit more familiarity with Nantucket and the world because she describes it so heavily in the other books. But you know, you do what you want, but I'm just putting out there my 2 cents. But anyways, I had a very successful week or month of reading. I cannot wait for October. I already have so many good things lined up. So please, if you are still here, thank you so much. I love doing these videos. It's really hard to find people that I can just blab and yap about all the things I read. So, and yeah, I will see y'all next time and be looking out for some really fun October videos. Bye guys.